What's up, everyone? Welcome to Power Play with CJ. Today I want to focus in on the Florida Panthers firing Kevin Dineen. Hey, I just did a piece last night about why they shouldn't fire Mr. Dineen, but apparently Dale Talon and company weren't watching the Power Play, so shame on Mr. Talon, and we'll get back to him in a second. He's not off the hook. I've said everything I need to say on the matter. It's ridiculous. He's not to blame for this. The ownership, front office, and the players should look themselves in the mirror on this one. And it's easy to blame the coach, but he's really in the middle between players that aren't playing well and a front office that is kind of inept. You're gonna say, well, a couple years ago you were really singing Dale Talon's praises. Yeah, but you're willing to overspend for mediocre players. I'm not going to put down Kopecky or Versteeg or Fleischman, guys like that, but 2011 you spent all that money on guys that Brian Campbell most notably that aren't overly great. Jovanovski, 4 years, $16 million for a 37, 38-year-old defenseman. And then the next year, you don't even talk to Zach Parise or Ryan Suter or any of the big studs that are franchise changers. And that's why you're in this rut, where you're going to forever be in that mediocre, that really lousy to really mediocre, valley in the NHL. And it's not that I don't like Horachek as a coach, but I just think it's funny he got fired as an assistant coach by Nashville, one of the most consistent franchises in hockey, and now he's the head coach from one of the most inconsistent franchises in hockey. Go figure. And I actually want to talk about the Kevin Dineen trajectory. It's Mayor's former coach in the state of Florida. Guy Boucher got fired last year. I love both of them. I love them getting hired. I thought they were good fits in their respective teams for their first NHL head coaching jobs. And, you look what Guy Boucher did in his first year with the Lightning. They go to Game 7 of the conference finals, lose 1-0 to the eventual Cup champs. And, then 18 months later, he's fired. And then you look at Dineen, first year in Florida. They go to the Game 7 against the eventual Eastern Conference champions in the first round. I mean, they lose in overtime, then double overtime. And you wonder, in both cases, had they won those Game 7s, would that have brought them more job security? What would have, especially in Florida's case, had they won that Game 7, would they maybe have gone after Parise a month or two later? I don't know. I doubt it, because new ownership's, they've been on the job for 2 months, so we'll give them a little leeway. But, I think it's then, like I said, 18 months later, Dineen's out of a job. So, I'm disappointed in both the Panthers and the Lightning for this, but, it is what it is. Going back to Kevin Dineen, he's a good coach. He'll get another job. And, I don't know how long Horachek's going to be in the job, but I look at Guy Boucher. I know, like I said last time, I talked about Peter Laviolette being a fit. But if Guy Boucher is available, I'd definitely pick him up. There's some really good coaches out there that are out of a job right now. And, I just think, much in the case of Laviolette, he was the fall guy. And, there needs to be more accountability for Dale Talon for putting together a team that can't win. These guys aren't playing well, aren't playing their hardest every night. I'm not even knocking them on their effort. Just saying there's no Zach Parise on that team. There's no Sidney Crosby. There's no Steven Stamkos. There's no Tuukka Rask between the pipes. There's no stability. There's no stud. And, too much responsibility falls onto guys that are good support players, good role players, Versteeg being one of them. He really shouldn't be leading your team in scoring. He should have a niche on your second or third line, provide you minutes on the power play and be a great support, great playoff player. But, this is what happens. So I'm curious to see how this all shakes up, but it's going to be a very intriguing situation in South Florida because, the young players should be looking over their shoulders as well. This is my third piece in the last 4 days on the Panthers and organizational moves they should make. The Gudbranson piece got some traction, and he could be next. So we'll see what happens. But I think there's at least one or two major trades coming up for the Panthers. Anyway, that's on this episode of the Power Play with CJ on the Florida Panthers firing Kevin Dineen. Stay tuned for more episodes throughout the season and beyond. Later, guys.